everybody. Welcome to NCW, also known as New Comics Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, we chat for a few minutes every Wednesday about Zenescope's newest releases. I'm your host, Amber, in case you weren't aware, and I hope that if you're joining us for the first time, that you'll be back for many, many, many NCWs. Because if you are, you'll get to hear from awesome creators, writers, artists, some of the co-founders of Zenescope, and you also just get to hear about Zenescope's newest releases and learn a little bit more about us. And you get to be welcomed into this incredible family. You can see all the people in the comments already of people that you just want to hang out with. To buy our newest releases, especially the ones we'll be chatting about today, you would go to our web store and you'd go under new releases, and the most recent ones will always be at the top. But if you don't want to buy from the web store, you can always check them out on Comixology, as well as picking them up from your local brick and mortar shop. And if they're not there, then you have to ask for Zenescope, because how else will you get to join us on NCW in this chat and just talk about everything? Yay! I'm so excited to see all of my favorite VIPs in the comments. It's been a while since everyone got together, and I haven't seen Chuck in here yet, so I'm a little nervous. But, you know, to learn about our latest past releases, you can go on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch all the NCWs that have been all the way back until, I believe, March 31st. So we've been going at this, I think, at least 20 times, which is pretty awesome. Today, we're going to be chatting about two releases. We'll be talking about Grim Universe Presents Quarterly, Zodiac versus Death Force. What a mouthful. Only the Zenescope title so long, as well as Belle Dragon Clan. And our featured guest today will be writer Jay Sandlin, who wrote Grim Universe Presents Quarterly, Zodiac versus Death Force. How many times can I say that in a row? I don't know. First, before I bring on Jay, I'm going to share the covers with everybody, all the pricing, all that good stuff that I do every NCW. So here, this is a very small typed banner because there's so much information. It is $8.99. Again, I mentioned it was written by Jay Sandlin, who we'll have on later today. And here are all of the covers. So here is cover... I'm looking for cover A. There's cover A. If you don't know, that is Zodiac. And this is a really badass cover because he looks like he's coming, like he's falling and he's coming right at you. And I think that's really, really cool. And then cover B obviously has to be Death Force going full force going up to Zodiac. Like they're about to, you know, battle off because obviously it's Zodiac versus Death Force. They're going to fight. And then here's cover C. So make sure you drop in the comments what cover is your favorite. My favorite of this week, I'm not really sure. I love parts of cover B a lot because like you can tell he's in motion and he's moving really, really fast. And I think that's portrayed really, really well by the artist. But I also love cover A because the colors in the background really make this pop. And I can tell that he's again in full force. But seeing like the buildings in the background, very, very cool. So again, those are our three covers. I am going to read the synopsis and then I'm going to bring on Jay Sandlin. And I'm pulling up the synopsis now. Give me 1 second as I pull it up. Okay. Two of the Grim Universe's most dangerous anti-heroes face each other for the first time in a life or death, get it, Death Force, okay, battle, neither knowing they are just pawns in a bigger game. I see Jay shaking his head in the background. He gets my puns. Who is the puppet master behind the scenes pulling their strings? Find out in this special oversized one-shot. So without further ado, I will be bringing on writer Jay Sandlin. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
I know you were one of our first guests ever on NCW.
So that was way back when we released H.H. Holmes together with Zenescope. And then I think we did some more on the virtual con recently.
Yeah, that's true. So Jay came on. He also wrote H.H. Holmes, which has also been one of my favorite stories of this year. It's gotten incredible reviews. It's very, I don't want to say it's outside of our wheelhouse, but it was one of our first dabbles with true crime.
Yes, and I have plenty of ideas of how it could fit into the larger Zenescope universe going forward. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
That's for anybody who might want to hear that, and that's just in my own head. That's all it exists as right now. But yeah, thank you. It was one of my favorites to write so far this year, as all of them have been.
Thank you, Jay. Well, cough, cough. David Wall, Dave Franchisi. Oh my God, Dave Franchini. If you are in the background, maybe there is more to this H.H. Holmes story fitting into our universe. Shall I say more?
I don't know, but Dave Franchisi is probably what he's used to hearing at Starbucks when his drink is ready. So
every time I see his name, I just really want to call him Dave.
Okay,
Fettuccini.
so funny story. I actually in H.H. Holmes wanted to cameo Dave, and I put his last name into the story as the banker who H.H. Holmes scams, and he was like, "Thanks, but go ahead and take that out." So instead, I used Hawkins for my other friend, my friend Brian Hawkins, also Zenescope writer of Gretel and Van Helsing. So what's up, Brian?
Yeah, we love Brian. Brian
You're
is
in
also
H.H. Holmes.
Brian was one of our first guests as well on NCW.
Yeah, Brian and I do a lot of things in concert with comics and books and things we're working on. He's very good people.
You both are incredible marketers. I'm just going to throw that out there. You're really good at marketing your stuff, and you guys create good stuff, so you should be marketing it very well.
Who else is going to talk about it if we don't?
Ooh, I love that. So we're going to dive in. Again, we're talking about Grimm Universe Presents Quarterly Zodiac versus Death Force. So, Jay, for those who are unfamiliar with Zodiac and Death Force, can you share just some tidbit backstory on these characters?
I recommend checking out their other solo series. There's a Zodiac miniseries that's only 3 issues. The Death Force miniseries is only 5, and both are actually on Comixology's Unlimited plan right now if you don't want to pick up the paper copies from Zenescope's website. Let's make it real easy, though. Zodiac is the best assassin in the Grimm universe, with armor crafted by Merlin and powered by the Grail. He is a Swiss Army knife of different weapons that are Zodiac houses themed. He's got the Scorpio stingers. He's got the Capricorn jetpack. My personal favorite weapons he uses, and you can probably tell this from the one of the big fights, are his weapons named for my sign, and that's the Libras. And he has the Scales of Justice handguns.
Yes.
Sounds like a freaking Chuck Norris fact. Zodiac names his handguns Scales of Justice.
That's so funny. Yeah, Zodiac has some cool effing weapons.
And Mr. Franchisi asked me when, before I even started the script, he said, we really want to feature Zodiac's weaponry. So that, once I leaned into that, it really wrote itself, and you can see that probably in the story's opening. So that's Zodiac. He's Magic Iron Man with a lot of weapons.
So what about Death Force?
What about Death Force was my next question, because I'm going to be honest, guys. You can tell me your opinions. Are you team Death Force? Are you team Zodiac? Wherever you fall, I made sure I read all of the prior comics, so you didn't have to, and made what I felt was my best educated guess on what would really happen in this fight if they meet each other with no prior knowledge on an even playing field. And looking at Death Force, I felt he was a bit overmatched at first. I thought Zodiac's got the weapons. Death Force's weaponry is nice, but he basically in the first solo series had cop weapons, and he's got his power, which is to siphon the life force, feed himself and his energy with, it's a Little Shop of Horrors, I guess, meets the Punisher. So he feeds himself with the life force he siphons off those he takes life from. So it's a pretty dark character who has to kill to, build up his own power and strength.
Yeah, I will admit that coming in to this, I actually was like, I don't know, Death Force, he can't really die So I was wondering like where this was really going to play
That's the
out.
question I asked myself as well. And we already knew from the very beginning that there would be kind of a catalyst for the story. Not anything like a damsel in distress, you'll find out, but there is a young woman that Zodiac is trying to return to Wonderland that kind of sets off the story. And Dave knew early on he wanted Wonderland involved. You'll have to find out the details of how, but I almost said Wonderland. Almost said Wonder Woman. I was thinking of you, Amber. Wonderland is connected to Philadelphia. So those are our two locations. And the way that they connect and the way that Wonderland plays a role also plays a role in how this fight starts, how they come against each other. And yeah, you're right. I thought Death Force seemed to have a big advantage, but you said the magic word. How do you kill him? Right? So since Wonderland was involved, I got to announce this at the virtual con when they showed the artwork. You can kill anything in Wonderland if you have something very special. It's called the Ebony Blade.
Wow, Jay just happens to have it.
I know, right? Well, it's a Tuskegee war. It's a war dagger, but the Ebony Blade, actually kind of looks a lot like this, and except it's got a card suite right here. So the Ebony Blade, as other stories in the Grimm universe has shown, it will kill anything when it's used in Wonderland. Otherwise, it's just a regular knife like I keep in my office in the real world, or our realm, I should say. So how do you kill something that cannot die when you have a weapon that never fails to kill under the right circumstances?
I like how you covered up that you actually have the weapon by saying, oh, this is just something I have as a prop. I'm on to you, Jay Sandlin. I'm on to you.
You think this is the only one?
So you really touched upon it, but, the odds in this battle seem very weird because Zodiac has so many awesome weapons, but Death Force can't die, or that's our understanding of that. Right. So when you brought these two characters together, knowing all of this and knowing that their verbiage and style and mannerisms are so different, how did you make sure that stood out for both individual character, but yet still meshed together?
Writers have to make decisions about characters, and one of the most important is voice. And my background's in theater, which I think informs a lot of how I write dialogue. I had to look at the character's background, which, again, you can do in their respective solo series, cheap plug. And you learn that Zodiac's background he is Logan O'Connell, who was a soldier, even from being a child. He was essentially radicalized by the IRA. I kind of compared him to Magic Iron Man, but he's more of a blue-collar Bruce Wayne if after the alleyway evening at the theater, he had been recruited by the IRA.
What a take.
So how would a person from this location at this time and with this background, how would he talk? Well, in the other series, it's made clear he's got an Irish accent. He's throwing out this engineer McCoy lads and lasses. And I sprinkled those in as well, but you can have so many tools now. I hate how people must have had to do this before the internet. Actually go to a library and check out an encyclopedia, maybe. Perish the thought and the paper cuts. But you can go online and look up dialects and vernaculars. How do people in this area talk at this time in this place? And I loved one Irish swear is fecking with an E.
Fecking.
And yeah, it's fecking. It's Irish. It's fecking great. It's fecking great. I mean, all I can do is throw in these little Irish barbs that will hopefully not make Logan sound like the Lucky Charms guy. Heart, stars, and horseshoes, clovers and balloons, pots of golden rainbows, and
the red balloon.
Woo! No, but I wanted it to be authentic without being over the top, fake, cartoony, which To be fair, Zodiac's a bit over the top anyway, so I can play a bit fast and loose with that. And then you have Death Force, and he's from Philly. He is a very, when you meet Rick Murphy in his comic, he's a down-to-earth family man, salt of the earth kind of guy. So I figure he speaks in a pattern that maybe he's trying to be understood. He is empathetic. He was a cop, and we give his origin that he found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. And that's how Death Force began, because he was offed by cops and then framed for the murder of other cops, which carried over into the big fight in Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia police are calling him a cop killer and saying, we know who you are and what you did. And if you want to know why the police think that about him, just go and check out Death Force's series. Not necessary for this volume, but it's something that I have to do to inform that voice you're talking about, how they sound and what words they choose.
It's very true. And, just as a quick side note, in the comics, whenever we have characters, crossovers, because I know crossovers are what everybody wants, but whenever we have characters or we're bringing in characters we haven't seen in a while, since a lot of the spotlight and presents are one shots that happen for characters that we haven't seen in like a year or whatever. But whenever we do that, there'll almost always be like a tag moment in the comment that will say like, see Death Force #1 or see this issue. So, and again, you did a really great job in this story of giving backstory on both of the characters as quickly as possible, as well as making it seem very authentic. Like, spoilers, I'm not going to reveal too much, but immediately you get the backstory of Zodiac, but then you don't get the backstory of Death Force till about like halfway through the comic.
You got to leave those breadcrumbs. You can't have the whole cake on the first setting. And somewhere there's a witch in the oven. I don't know. Has Zenescope, we've got Hansel and Gretel. Yeah. Shout out Brian with the breadcrumbs and Gretel.
It's true. It's true. If you guys haven't read Gretel, like, what are you doing? Gretel.
I am pretty sure that I'm just going to go on record and say Gretel could probably kick both their asses, Zodiac and Death Force, if she's got the right kind of witch in her system at the time. But it came down to these two. I had to pick some winners because something about this book, I said to myself, I'm not going to do the cop-out that the other superhero versus fights do in any big twos. I'm going to say there's going to be a winner. And you can say maybe someone wins round 1. You can say someone wins round 2. I believe there's one clear winner, and we'll see if you agree as well.
I agree that most universes, and this was the whole marketing thing with Godzilla and Kong, right? Everyone's like, oh, there's not going to be a clear winner, and we're just going to watch them fight whoever. And it had been very heavily hinted that it was probably going to be Mechagodzilla. We all know, though, that if they fought Mothra, Mothra would always win. Shout out to Mothra, my girl.
Why do you think they didn't bring Mothra back? Because
it's true.
Yeah. There is a Mothra egg in the monster universe, as we know from the end credit scene of King of the Monsters, which I have watched through several times looking for clues because that's my life. But in any event, yes, I totally agree. And honestly, Godzilla Kong has been one of my favorite films all year. So scripting this roughly around the same time I was rewatching and watching did inform me. And as there is a Mechagodzilla in the end of Godzilla Kong, you can see from that synopsis, Amber read, there are other powers that are manipulating these two title characters as pawns on their chessboard. Who's moving the pieces? That's kind of the question you start to ask yourself as you get closer to the end. So I hope they're satisfied with where the game ends up.
I am. Well, I have 2 quick things and then you'll be on your way. And then I'll have you on NCW very soon. But if they could fight anyone else, who would you want them to fight? Would it be Gretel or would it be somebody else?
I think Gretel would be great, but for Zodiac, it would have to be Robin, because it would have to be Robin's bow and arrows against Zodiac's armor and weapons. I don't know if Robin could overcome his Grail power and self-healing armor, because there's that mystical element. So we don't know. If it was Death Force, that's going to have to get more into the dark underbelly of the Grimm universe. So I'd like to see Death Force go try to dispense some of his style of justice, maybe on somebody from Tarot. I can't say her name very well, but Maeve. Am I saying it right? I'm from Alabama.
So a lot of times when we say character names, it's so funny. Like, this is a conversation actually I've had. So obviously Raven was a big writer, came up with Wonderland, everything. So he actually says, I think he says Kaylee, and then everybody else says Callie. And so sometimes I feel like we do that with our characters where you're like, I don't really know what the name is.
Maybe. And maybe even I've been diving into the Oz compendium lately that you can get in all 745 pages of its glory. So diving into Oz lately, I would also suggest maybe one of those witches, Witch of the West, whoever it came down to. Death Force and his power meeting up with someone that magic. I'd be interested to see what happened.
So, final question. Again, today we're talking about Grimm Universe Presents Quarterly Zodiac versus Death Force, which is $8.99 right now in our web store. What else are you working on for Zenescope, or anything else that you like to shout out before we bid you adieu?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I will. I hope I do get to come back soon, because
you will.
With Zenescope, it's going to be. We announced this at the virtual con, and I should have sent a cover reminder to have it. But we've got the Halloween special, and that's going to be the 2021 Halloween. I don't know that it has an officially announced subtitle yet, which is to say, I know what it is, but I'll never tell. So just be ready for Halloween. It is going to be 6 short comics, actually all written by me, that are intertwined to give you a full 72-page Halloween fright. I hope you love it. I won't say much else, but my new ongoing series also came out this month, Gen Hunter issue 1. That's going to be ongoing as a monthly title. So as you were saying, it's interesting the way that comics are changing, and you can have monthly titles. You can have larger one-shots and get a story from start to finish. There are trade waiters. There are digital readers. There are healthy people like Amber who jog all the time and love to go to a comic shop. And there are you who are homebound right now and not able to get out or live the same life that you've been able to do before. And however you read comics or pick them up, I just want to say that comics are for everyone. And I hope that whatever I get to write in the future, you might find helps make the current situation and climate better. And I send all of my strength and spirit to those out there who are suffering.
Oh, that was so well said, Jay. Thank you. You're right. There's a lot going on, but you can always have the escape in a comic. And the difference of having an escape in the comic also means, like I mentioned before, there are very personal backstories to these characters. You can really empathize with them. And I think that's the greatest thing about Zenescope comics and just comics in general. But I think it's what we do best here.
Well, I'm going to go back and play with some more knives. I hope you all enjoy Zodiac versus Death Force. And please find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook if you must. And it's at jsandlin_ or jsandlin.com. I've got a cool newsletter. I promise I don't send a lot. And at the end of this week, I'm sending out a free short story. Actually, it's a short novella. I'm sending out some electronic copies and a few signed copies if you're in the US. So hop on and get some information on how to be a part of that.
And Jay also has a podcast, which I've been on before, and it's a great podcast. You guys should listen.
Geekopedia on all your podcast devices. We've got part 2 dropping Friday with Mr. David Posed about his latest Kickstarter successes. We've got some future guests coming on Marvel projects, Scholastic Graphics, and just many others. So yeah, pay attention.
That's awesome. Thank you again, Jen. Thank you again.
I'm Jen now. Thank you.
Again, Jay, for joining us today on NCW.
Thank you, Pamber.
Oh, again, Jay is a great, great guest. We were just talking about Grimm Universe Presents Quarterly Zodiac versus Death Force, which I mentioned is such a mouthful. And this is not our only release. I know that we were chatting a really long time about it. Feel free to write in the comments who you think would win, but we have another release that I know you guys are very excited about because Belle is one of Zenescope's most popular characters. Belle Dragon Clan, it's $5.99. It was written by our own Dave Franchisi. If you're listening before there's a joke. Okay, by Dave Franchini. He is our publisher. And I'm going to pop up the cover so you can see. Here is cover A. And here is cover B. And then cover C. Let me know in the comments which is your favorite cover. I think cover C is the stealer for me this week. I'm very torn between cover A and B for Zodiac versus Death Force, but I think cover C is just incredible and really just vibrant. I love the yellow cape that we get to see. Here's the synopsis. Annabelle Belle DeMarco has faced monsters and beasts of almost every dark hidden corner of our world. And whether it was skill or luck, she has come out standing on top. It was skill. It was definitely skill. Belle's got skill. But what happens when she becomes the prey of something not of this realm? Something so ancient and powerful that she might not have the knowledge or ability to stop it. Don't miss this next thrilling chapter in Belle's life as she takes on the Dragon Clan in this oversized 32-page story. So I'll just chat really quickly about this. This is a great, great book, really, because whenever Belle faces a monster like this, you don't really know. You're like, okay, Belle's gonna, most likely survive. We have to have her story to story, but what struggles is she going to come in contact? And I will say that there is technically, and not technically, there is a connection. There is a character that we did not mention on purpose in Zodiac versus Death Force that has also made her way into Belle Dragon Clan. So feel free to guess in the comments who you think the character is. But there is a connection there. This character makes an appearance in both the stories. Nothing to spoil there. There is some sort of, it felt like, I don't want to say this for lack of a better term, but you ever watch a movie and then in the end credits, like I won't say, but superhero movies usually do this. There's like that character comes in and then eventually it all connects. And that's what I'm getting excited about because I feel like there's going to be a lot of connections that happen very, very soon. And again, I won't say the mystery character, but there might be a couple of right comments out there. You have to get the story. You have to get Belle Dragon Clan. It's a great read, really personal story. Belle is on the hunt for an apartment. I feel that. I'm not currently looking for an apartment, but every time I hunt for an apartment, it's always so stressful. Like, I understand. And Belle also has to fight this dragon, which is out of this realm. Crazy, crazy. Again, though, we're talking today about Belle Dragon Clan, $5.99 in our web store. We also talked about Grimm Universe Presents Quarterly, Zodiac versus Death Force. If you're just joining us right now, make sure that you watch this once it ends and go see the interview by Jay. He's a great guest. I always love having Jay on. He's awesome. He has a lot of good insight. His podcast's a lot of fun. I've been on it before. I think Ralph's also been on it. So I hope we get to see him back, and we will, because he is currently writing our Halloween special. And if you guys don't know, which I'm sure you do, Halloween is the biggest time of the year here at Zenescope. We love all things spooky. Okay, we're going to go in full recap mode. So again, Belle Dragon Clan, $5.99 right now in our web store. We also chatted about, how many times can I say this in a row really fast? Grimm Universe Presents Quarterly, Zodiac versus Death Force, which is $8.99. It is a complete story. One of my favorite reads I've had all year. I think so far, my favorite read has been Hercules Pain versus the Scorpion Queen. I loved that story. Joe did a really, really great job. This is definitely up here for me. It might be number two, not number two. I don't know. I really liked Oz Patchwork Girl. Jenna Lynn Wright did an incredible job on that story. And the character that this Zenescope team has created, eerie. So what's coming up next week? What will we be chatting about? Grimm Spotlight Red Agent, Beast of Belgium, which I know you guys are excited about because this one cover is so great. I've showed it so many times, but I haven't shown this cover yet. This is also a great cover, though. Whew, Paris, the Eiffel Tower. I've been before. I've been twice, actually. I've been twice. It was a great time every single time I went to Paris. I think those 2 times were it for me. But again, next week's release is Grimm Spotlight Red Agent Beast of Belgium. I know how much you guys love Little Red Riding Hood. So you'll get that opportunity to learn more about her story. Other stuff that's happening, I don't know if you guys saw, but Second Life, have we talked about that a couple of times? That's right. The metaverse universe of Zenescope is currently active in Second Life. And yesterday I got to play around the universe. It was a lot of fun. Ralph got to play in it too. It was very, very cool for both of us. There's some cool interviews coming out. But if you guys don't have a Second Life account, you have to get one. There's so many different universes out there. But more importantly, there's a Zenescope universe. You have the opportunity to play as our characters. And here are the 4 skins that you can currently play as: Mad Hatter, Cindy, a male version of Cindy, and the character we talked about today, Belle. Duh. So that's what's happening with Second Life. You can log on and do it ASAP. Our exclusive VIP event is happening this Friday and Saturday. Will you guys be there? Because if you weren't, I like, what are you doing? If you're not a VIP, make sure that you email Adrienne. She's in the comments right now. I'm sure she can drop her email. But again, it's VIP@zenescope.com. Make sure that you attend this weekend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be just a bunch of us hanging out with our favorite VIPs, some of your favorite staff, some of your favorite writers. They'll all be there. I hope I'm one of your favorite staff. Who knows? Our after school special is happening next Wednesday. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. and it will be just, us in detention hanging out. We'll be sharing and selling some very cool stuff that we have for September. On top of that, we also have Movie Club happening next Friday. The Lost Boys. Everybody loves The Lost Boys. This is such an epic film. I'm really excited to watch Movie Club with all of the favorite similar crew that is always there. I wonder if I have any other announcements. I don't think so. If you guys didn't watch NCW last week, we did talk about The Watcher. It's right. I read it. Just FYI. It was very, very good. But it was made into a graphic novel. It's 3 of our issues together. You can learn more about that on our YouTube stream last Wednesday, where I hung out with co-founder Ralph Tedesco, who also co-wrote this story. Really great story. Shout out to Ralph. He did a really great job. And that's pretty much it, everybody. I don't know. This was, again, another long NCW, but there was a lot of insight I want to talk about with Jay. Go read both Belle Dragon Clan and Zodiac versus Death Force, and tell me who you think the winner is. Is there a clear winner? Jay says there is. I'm not so sure. So go read it. Let me know who you think the winner is. Write in the comments. But this was a really fun NCW. I can't wait to join everybody next Wednesday for A, the after school special, and B, to talk about Red Riding Hood. So this is Amber signing off with Zenescope for NCW, where you come for the covers, but you stay for the stories. I'll see you guys this Friday at the VIP event.